Today we're going to do some thermos cooking with some of my Thrive Life foods. For those of you that don't know, a lot of these thermoses made by Thermos or Stanley, you can actually cook in these. It's actually like a small crock pot. Now, the advantage of that comes when you're trying to make a meal for a trip for the day or for work or for going out or camping, whatever. Maybe you're doing a field exercise with your friends, whatever you're doing, and you don't want to carry a cook kit and cooking gear and all that other stuff. So I'm going to show you this thermos real quick. This is something I picked up. You can see here. You can see it's almost in new condition. The only thing wrong with it was somebody had written their name on the bottom in ink, which I got off. I bought this in the my local Goodwill store for 99 cents. I think they run about 17, 18 bucks on Amazon. Comes with its own spoon, which is kind of cool. This isn't really a review of it, but I thought I'd show you it just to show you how neat it is. And for 99 cents, I figure you can't go wrong with something like that. So what I'm going to do today is make myself up a meal with some Thrive Life stuff. And you don't have to use Thrive Life stuff, with this. You can do this with a ton of other items. I've seen people do it with things like rice and some beef jerky. And you just heat up your water, stick it in there with the rice and the beef jerky, and wait a couple hours and you got lunch. What I'm going to do today is make some kind of cheesy beef macaroni. In this, we're going to boil some water. And I'm going to put some hot water in here to begin with, to heat it up already. We're going to boil some water, and we're going to pour all this in, and we're going to make ourselves some food. Now, it does take a little while, so this is something like if you're on a camp, camping out, and you want to have your lunch ready for you, you don't want to sit down and start cooking. While you're making breakfast, you can put this stuff together, leave it in this thermos, and by lunchtime, it's ready and you're ready to go. So we're going to do a little magic of time-lapse photography here once I'm done with this, and I'll bring you back when it's all cooked. But first, let's set it all up. All right, so I got the old Yugoslavian mess kit out here to boil some water for it. Now what I did was I filled this up with hot water. I boiled some water and put it in here just to preheat it. We got that all sealed up. I'm going to boil this water, then we're going to dump this water out that's in here, the preheat water. We're going to dump it out. And we're going to put in our ingredients and then add water just enough to make everything hydrate. You don't need a ton of water, especially for the ground beef. Depending on what you're doing, if you're doing like rice and you're just doing regular rice, not instant rice or anything like that, you're going to need a good amount of water compared to what we're going to be using today. Today we're not going to be using much. Let's turn him on and let him boil. And while he's boiling, we'll set up our other stuff. Alright, so while we're waiting for that to boil, I measured out about a cup of the Thrive macaroni. We're going to do about, I don't have a lot left of this, but we're probably going to do whatever's left in there. That's probably about 3/4 of a cup. And just this stuff to maybe a little 1/4 cup. I don't want it to be too much cheese. And pour it all in there. I'm going to dump out the preheated water because that's almost ready to boil. And we'll go from there. Alright, so we got the noodles in there. We got this, and like I thought, it's about 3/4 of a cup. It's got some of the little bit of the residue too, but that's all right. Everything goes in there; it'll taste good. As for cheese, I'm just going to add. Let's see. What do you think? And again, you do this by experimentation. This may come out horrible. I don't know. I've never tried this before. You're seeing it first here. We got boiling water up there. That's good. So let's dump the cheese in. Now, I'm going to kind of mix everything around a little bit in here. You kind of just, if you do it like this, if you kind of pull forward, shake forward like that, you'll get everything mixed together. Okay? Now, as you can tell, that's pretty full. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. And that was about 3/4, that was about 1/2 cup, I'm sorry. 1/2 cup of cheese. Let's get this guy in here. Okay, whoops, wait a second here. Let's do this right. There we go. Now, that's probably more than enough, okay? If you can tilt it sideways and you see a little bit of water, you're probably good. Actually, that's probably a little too much water. I'm going to dump a little bit out. There. Because remember, with the Thrive stuff, it's just dehydrated and you want to hydrate it. You don't need it like rice, where the rice will actually absorb all of the water. We're going to seal that up. Give it a good shake. I'll put a little tiny bit more water in there. A little tiny bit. It's just got the Thrive meat in it, so it's not too much of a big deal. There we go. Now, because this is dehydrated, this will probably hydrate very quickly. And by quickly, I mean like an hour or so. We're going to leave that alone. Just going to put it there. And this is how this little guy snaps in here. Underneath the front and in the back like that. And we're just going to seal it up. And we'll come back in. Well, I'll try it in an hour and see how it looks. And after that, we'll come back at 2 hours or whatever, see how long it takes. So give me a little bit of time, which will be a couple of seconds for you, and we'll see how that tastes. All right, been about 2 hours, actually 2 hours and 15 minutes. We're going to open it up and see what we got inside. I haven't cheated yet, I didn't look, so if it's nasty, you'll get to see it first. Well, looks good. I'm going to put it in this clear measuring cup here so you can see a little bit of it. Whoops. There we go. The only thing that didn't go as expected is the cheese. It didn't, so you're probably going to have to chop that up a little bit, mix it up a little bit. But looks like it came out okay. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. Excuse my chewing. Tastes really good. So, turned out pretty good. So this is awesome for an area where you don't have a lot of room to cook, you know, say in an RV or something. The only thing I'd do differently next time is probably use some of the powdered cheese from Thrive. Maybe throw in a little milk. Because this cheese didn't melt and it didn't become like cheesy macaroni and cheese. It's still good and it still has a taste of the cheese even without it on there. But there are lots of other ways to do this. You can use rice. You can use, like I showed you, beef jerky. I've seen people break up a thing of ramen noodles and throw in some Spam in here and let that cook. So this is kind of like a portable crock pot. That's the nice part about it. You can take this with you. You can prepare a meal at home. Take it with you to work. So another way that you can use Thrive every day. You know, you can just make your meals ahead of time. Heat this up, you know, pour in your stuff, seal it up. Lunchtime, open it up, and you got lunch ready to go. I mean, if I was starving right now, I'm ready for lunch. It still is, I just ate lunch, and it's still a little late in the afternoon, so I'm not starving right now. But if I was starving and ready to eat, sure would be nice to go into my work bag or locker at work or whatever and have food made already. Not have to sit and fuss with a microwave or anything like that. But it's also applicable, say, in your camp gear for your camp cooking. If you're going to be cooking out in the morning, making breakfast, and you want to make an easy lunch so you don't have to stop whatever you're doing. Wouldn't say this is stuff that I put in a bug out bag or survival gear. Maybe an easy way to cook in an emergency. Just boil some water and toss in some food. But I definitely wouldn't make food like this in a bug out bag. This is more of a emergency home cooking type thing. Anyway, that's my little debut into Thermos cooking with some Thrive Life foods. You don't need to use Thrive Life foods. You can do this with stuff that you have at home already. Just some rice, some beef jerky, even some dehydrated camp meals. You know, if you want to rehydrate a camp meal, you know, a Mountain House entree or something in one of these. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.